Hi, it's Natalie, the Modern Hippie Mama, and I'm here with your tip of the week. Today I wanted to talk about ear pain. So if you have young ones, you may have already experienced ear infections. They are completely unpleasant, unenjoyable for all those that are involved. And oftentimes if there is an ear infection in a baby, because they're not able to communicate with us verbally, we have to kind of do some detective work. So whether it's them tugging on their ears or moving from side to side, super cranky and irritable, these are all signs that there could potentially be something going on with the ear. As a child, I remember myself, I oftentimes got ear infections and they were very painful, and I specifically remember that bothering me so much. And my mom would give me antibiotics, which is what the doctor had told her to do. Fast forward many decades later, here I am to tell you that I'm sure that if my mom had known that dairy was causing the sinus congestion, which can often lead to ear pain as well, then she probably would have taken me off of dairy. But we do what we know when we know it, and so now I know that dairy plays a huge role in anything going on with the sinuses, or which can also affect the ears. So the first thing that I would do is to suggest removing dairy if you or your child is experiencing ongoing sinus pain, ear pain, and anything like that. So even in the nodes, the nodules in the back of the throat, you might want to consider cutting out dairy. With that being said, there are some remedies that I have available that I use for myself or for my children in the event that there is something going on with the ear. So one of those is ear oil. So garlic oil, compound mullein oil, is really, really awesome. This brand in particular, because it is organic and ecologically harvested, so that's always a plus. So what you would do with that oil is, if you notice that there's something going on, there's some pain, some discomfort, something like that, I would suggest that you find out which ear it is, of course, and then have them go onto their side and do a few droppers into the ear. They would lay down, allowing the oil to kind of trickle down into the drum. You can always assist it, with the massaging here, like I had mentioned with the castor oil, and also you could do castor oil behind the ear for the ear infection. That is really fantastic in reducing the inflammation. But you would just basically massage around the ear, and just assist all of that movement. So we always want things to be in flow, in motion. Stagnation, when things are stuck, never a good idea. It just doesn't help the body move effectively, efficiently, and easily. So the garlic oil. However, that being said, if you suspect that there's a rupture or a perforation in the eardrum, which the symptoms would include dizziness, vertigo, if there's some drainage happening in the ear, if you're in immense pain, if that was the situation, then I would suggest going to your pediatrician or your doctor and having them do a test to see if it was in fact perforated. If it was, then I would go homeopathy route, and instead of putting the garlic oil in the ear, I would actually take a remedy called pulsatilla. And so pulsatilla is really helpful in cases of ear infections and ear pain. And I realized that I have been giving some tips around homeopathy, but I didn't exactly stop to explain to you how you should properly take that homeopathy. So if you have your remedy, what you would do is spin the top, and so that you get your little pellets that come down to the bottom, and then you would take off the top and use this and kind of knock it back like you would like a little miniature shot glass. And the reason that you don't want to touch the actual pellets is because it's considered energy medicine. And since we are energy, we have our own energy, our children have their own energy, everything is energy. In this particular circumstance, we don't want to cross those energies. So if you touch it, or if your child touches it, it could potentially affect the effectiveness of the homeopathy. Just something to keep in mind. So you have the garlic oil, you have the pulsatilla, and if you don't have those and it's the middle of the night and you haven't gotten those ahead of time, then I would suggest taking an onion. So if you have an onion, most of us have onions in our kitchen, we'll just slice it in half, cut it into cubes, put it into a high-speed blender, and then blend it until it's turned into a juice. Now, of course, it's going to be slightly chunky because you just blended up an onion. But what you want to do is wait for the onion to settle, for all the juice and everything to, the onion smoothie to settle. And once it does, then the juice rises to the top. And at that point, you can take a dropper and do some drops of the onion juice in the ear. So onion juice, garlic oil, pulsatilla, these 3 things are pretty phenomenal when it comes to ear infections, and a great way to not have to take antibiotics. So I hope that was helpful, and if you have any questions, I am here to serve and support. Peace, love, and all that jazz.